In today's crazy, busy world, for many families, cooking dinner might mean picking up a pre-made dish from the grocery store to pop in the oven, getting pizza delivered, or going through a drive-thru on the way to a sporting event. Cooking as a family is so important, and that's what we want to talk about on today's show. Cooking as a family fosters family togetherness while you bond with your children, teaching the importance of healthy eating as they develop lifelong healthy habits and an appreciation for food, which is really important. On today's show, we have several special Red Clay guests that are going to be visiting with us, and it's all about cooking family style. I'm your host, Jessica Terranova, and let's get cooking. During National School Lunch Week, the Red Clay School Nutrition Department hosted a recipe challenge where we asked elementary students to submit their favorite family tradition recipe. We had several submissions from the elementary levels, and we chose 6 as our top winners. Mehlaynie Torres, a kindergartner at Richardson Park, was our winner, who we went to surprise at her school to let her know. Let's take a sneak peek at how that went. Hi, I'm Jessica Terranova with the Nutrition Department at Red Clay, and we're about to now announce one of the winners for the recipe contest we just held, Mehlaynie Torres, who's a kindergartner here at Richardson Park. So come with me, we're about to go into the classroom. Does everyone remember when the Nutrition Department had a recipe contest? Does everyone remember? And we had someone in this room, I hope she's here. Is there a Mehlaynie Torres here?
Yeah.
Is that you? Good morning. You want to sit right here?
Hi, Mehlaynie. That's my sister.
That's your sister? Well, guess what? You were one of the winners for the recipe contest. That's why I'm here. Are you super excited? Yeah? Give me a high five.
Do you remember the recipe that Mommy submitted with you?
She said cheesy was good. My favorite soup.
Your favorite soup, do you remember what it was called? It had a very special name. Pops crab soup. And I'm so super excited to try it because you know what? You're going to help me make it on a cooking show if you're available. You're going to be on TV with me. Is that so much fun? Yeah? So here's your certificate. See that? Can't wait to tell Mommy. And I have a little cooking set because you like to cook, right? I'm assuming if you helped with the recipe contest, you like to cook, right? Yeah, and it's very fun to cook. So I've got a little cutting board, a little teaspoons, a strainer, some spatulas, and a mixer. So next week, there's an envelope in here that tells your parents what we need to do, okay? Well, thank you so much, and I will see you next week. I'm super excited.
Kids, let's give her a round.
And I'm hungry. Thank you. So I have Mehlaynie with me today. Are you super excited to be on the show? Was that fun when I came to surprise you at your class?
Yeah.
Yeah? Were you super surprised? That's so fun. Now, who do you have with you today?
My mom.
And why is your mom here on the show with us?
Because my dad was taking care of my sister.
Okay.
Two sisters at the house.
Oh, so they couldn't all be here for your big moment? That's cool. They can always watch it later on TV, which will be really fun. Now, do you like to cook with your mom and your dad in the kitchen? Yeah? That's awesome. Do you have fun doing that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming since you're here, you like to be in the kitchen. So what is your favorite thing to do when you're helping out in the kitchen?
Licking the spoon.
Licking the spoon, trying all the products as you guys are making them. You get to try the recipes out. That's a really important job, you know, because if you don't have anyone to taste test it, how do you know it's good, right? Mm-hmm. Very, very important job. That's awesome. So what recipe did you submit for the Red Clay Recipe Challenge?
My grandpa's crab soup.
Grandpa's crab soup, which sounds super good. Mom, where did that recipe originate from?
My grandfather, actually on my father's side, brought it from Korea.
Okay.
When he was back in the army. So it was something that was brought over from the Korean side, and he just kind of put his own twist on it with the Old Bay, and there you have pop-up soup.
There you go, Pop-Up's crab soup. So we are going to make Pop-Up's crab soup today on the show, and I need lots of help from you. So are you ready to work?
Yeah, and can Mommy tell us what to do? Because I don't know how to make it.
Mommy is going to walk us through the whole recipe, and she gave me the recipe. You gave me the recipe before today, so I have all the ingredients magically. We'll get started.
For today's recipe, Pop's crab soup, you will need the following ingredients: 2 pounds of crab meat, which you can choose to buy the canned crab meat. I recommend the back fin crab meat, which is a combination of jumbo lump and special grade crab. Keep in mind the cost of the crab meat overall will vary significantly depending on what type of crab you choose. 3 to 4 large carrots peeled and diced, 3 to 4 white potatoes peeled and diced, a half to 3/4 cup of fresh green beans diced, 1 1/4 cup of frozen peas, 1 1/4 cup of frozen lima beans, 2 to 3 ears of corn shucked, kernels cut off the cob. And for a simpler version of this recipe, you could omit the fresh vegetables mentioned above and just use 4 1-pound bags of frozen mixed vegetables. It would not really change the cooking process. 1 28-ounce can of tomato puree, 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes, a half to 3/4 cup of ketchup, a half to 3/4 cup of white vinegar, 1 tablespoon black pepper, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 4 tablespoons Old Bay seasoning.
So what I have for you, and this is a good way if you're at home and you want to get your kids cooking in the kitchen with them, and something like a root vegetable that's really hard to cut, you can always steam it first, and the knife should glide through a lot easier if you give them a kid knife. So that's what we have. We have 2 steamed potatoes, which should be easy for you to cut, and a carrot. And
A wet carrot.
it is wet because we steamed it. So I have all the vegetables here. We've got corn. Now in this recipe, we chose for today's show to use the fresh vegetables. Yep. But Mom, you were saying you can also buy the bagged frozen vegetables, which would be really easy if you want to make this dish quickly. The 5-way veggie blend, it has corn, peas, lima beans, carrots, and potatoes we added, which you said was optional. But I thought potatoes, we agreed that potatoes
That's our favorite part, honestly.
Awesome. So how about we start with the potatoes? What do you think?
Yes.
I'm going to reach in front of you and grab a knife. And Mehlaynie has a kid's knife to cut with. So I'm just going to cut these into little pieces for you, because if you want them, the softer they are, the better for if you want your kid to help in the kitchen. You want to make them almost like they're a baked potato. That way the knife just slides right through them. In this dish, it really doesn't matter because they're going to cook for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one. So why don't you work on slicing this potato into a couple cubes, and I'm going to work on my cubes over here.
Wow, you're fast.
I'm fast. Spend a lot of time in the kitchen, huh? You don't try and race me. You're fine. You take your time.
You're doing a great job.
I've just got a lot more I'm going to be cutting over here. So as you're cutting the vegetables, you want to cube them. It's good to keep them in the same bite-sized pieces for uniformity, if you can. Similar. How you doing? Are they okay? Is it sliding through okay? Mom, you got your eye on her. Whoopsies, potato down. It's okay. He's a goner.
He's a runaway.
He's a runaway. And we just have water boiling here. The exact quantity of water depends on your size pot. But Mom, how much water did you guys say you use typically?
We usually use about the same size pot, and we usually use about 1/3 of the pot.
Okay.
So it really just depends on the consistency of the soup, whether you like it thick or more on the runny side.
Okay. So, and that's something as you make this recipe, this recipe does have a lot of, to your preference, ingredients as far as how you like to flavor your soup, which is nice.
What everybody at home can enjoy.
Exactly. And we will have the recipe, how they use it with approximate sizes on the website for you, which I will give you that later. How you doing over there? You doing okay? All right. So we're popping in our potatoes. And potatoes are a great source of potassium, which is good. You throwing potatoes at me?
Getting good at this.
And I am gonna probably just go with these potatoes for now. We can always, I'm gonna keep adding vegetables to this, and if we need more, I do have another potato there.
Okay.
What do you think? How you doing? Do you wanna hold off on these potatoes and we'll switch to the carrot? Does that sound good? I'm gonna go ahead and grab this, pop it in there. And this recipe is one that's gonna cook for a while. And Mehlaynie now has a steamed carrot, which really the knife should just glide right through that for you.
Like
go ahead and
this?
give it a try. That's perfect.
Yep, just like Mommy does.
And I am going to cut the carrot in half and then in half again, so in quarters.
Watch your fingers.
And again, as we started the show, we said you can do this recipe, and this one's small, I'm just gonna cut it in half. You can do this recipe using frozen vegetables, and this would save up a lot of time with the cutting. But it's really good to get your kid involved in cutting the vegetables. I think it's really important because if they feel involved, they're more likely to eat it, right?
Likely to eat it,
They're
yep.
so excited to try your own dish that
Since
you made.
these are so hard, I just cutted them.
Okay, and I can, you know what? You can leave them like that if you want, and I will cut them more if you need me to. I am here for you. This show is all about you, Mehlaynie. It's your world. We are just in it today. How about that?
Your kitchen. We're just cooking in it.
Get this going a little bit. Thank you for prepping these for me.
Doing a great job.
Yeah. And if there's any vegetables that you are not a fan of, if you don't like carrots or you don't like potatoes, you can always leave them out of this recipe and maybe add another vegetable.
Yeah. A lot of people like onions.
Onions would be good in here. And you were saying you could add onions and garlic.
Oh,
You
my
guys
mom
just don't
doesn't like
Mom's
onions.
allergic to onions.
Mom's allergic to onions. Oh my, that's
The worst thing to be allergic to in the kitchen.
That's like the start of every dish for me.
Yep.
So next I'm going to go to corn. Again, you can use frozen or you could use canned. You'd want to drain off the juice. For this one, what you want to do, if you're going to use fresh corn, you could steam it first, but you want to cut off the bottom so it sits flat in your cutting board. And when you cut, I do not want to take your hand with me. You're going to, that just kind of made a mess. You're going to cut the corn off the stalk and just take it sideways. And fresh corn really is good in this recipe. It definitely has a different texture to it in comparison to frozen.
Wait to reach for it.
But frozen vegetables they are really good to have, especially on hand if you don't have time to go to the store to get your fresh vegetables. It is good to always keep frozen on hand. And frozen, a lot of people think frozen vegetables are not as healthy as fresh, but in a lot of cases, they are just as healthy, if not healthier, because they are picked in their prime. How you doing over there, potato cutter?
Good.
I am throwing corn everywhere. Whoever has to clean this floor, which is not me and you, Mehlaynie. Feel sorry for them.
But that's the best part of cooking, is making a mess.
See, I have a doggy at home, and I call him Hoover because
He makes a mess.
No, he cleans up my mess. We're partners in the kitchen.
Everything she drops, he picks up.
He's right behind me. His real name's not Hoover, but I should have named him Hoover. What do you think?
Do you want to know
Yeah.
why she named him Hoover? You want to know why that's so funny?
Because
Because
he
the vacuum's name is Hoover.
Yeah. There's a vacuum company called Hoover. All right, next we've got potatoes, we've got corn, we've got carrots, and they're all our starchy vegetables. We've got some more vegetables that we're going to add in. Mehlaynie, I'm going to give you the green beans. How about that? So we're going to give you a handful of green beans, and I'll take some. And you can either cut them, or you can, if cutting is always a concern for you. A fun way to do green beans for kids too is they're easy to snap. Well, usually. You can just snap them into pieces too if you want, and that's also just as fun and still keeps you involved, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make these into a nice even pile.
I'm already on cutting.
And this is soups, are a great way to get veggies into your kids' diets.
Absolutely.
Because you can sneak pretty much anything in here. And as long as it's got crab meat and Old Bay and tomatoes, it pretty much masks everything.
Especially when they're the ones putting it in, they don't even realize.
Exactly.
At that point, they're just too excited.
Yes. I'm excited to try this. How about you? Yeah?
You think
Yeah.
it's going to be as good as ours at home?
I hope so.
I think.
I think.
So next we have peas, and we also have lima beans. Again, all these vegetables, with the exception of the potatoes, can be found in your 5-way veggie blend that you can buy frozen. So there really is a lot of options on variations that you can do this. I'm not going to use all of these just because it's a little bit smaller of a pot.
Okay, this.
How you doing
We can
over
move
there?
on to the rest of them. It's okay if it doesn't break all the way.
It doesn't have to be completely uniform. I'm not actually judging you for the size.
Oh, look at you going big. Maybe you should stick to one at a time. There you
So
go.
next we have, Mom, you have diced tomatoes that goes in here too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can buy canned diced tomatoes. If it's the end of a growing season and you have tomatoes fresh from your garden, you could always chop them.
Yep.
You want to remove the
That's
skins.
how he does it.
Yeah, so you want to remove the skins, but you could chop those and put those in the recipe too. Tomatoes are a really good source of lycopene, which is an antioxidant. Have you ever heard that word? It's a big fancy word, right? Do you know what an antioxidant does? It's like a superhero in your body, and it fights off the bad stuff. So it's really important to have antioxidants in your diet. Okay?
Keeps you from getting sick.
Yeah, it keeps you from getting sick. And antioxidants there's a lot of antioxidants in fruits and vegetables. You eat a lot of fruits and vegetables in your diet, right? Yeah?
What's your
Papa?
favorite vegetable?
Yeah, tell me that.
Do you have a favorite?
Grapes.
Grapes are
Grapes are your favorite
That's
fruit?
a fruit.
How about favorite vegetable? Is it one here today, or is it not here today?
Corn.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what I was going to say.
So I have something for you that I forgot in the beginning again. I've got a pair of tongs, and these are yours. This is a necessity in every kitchen. You need a pair of tongs. So these
Definitely.
are yours to keep.
What do you
So
say?
when you get in the kitchen and you help, you can use them. Is that exciting? So all you do is you
What do you
slide
say?
this down, and you go. Boop, 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 boop. Got it?
Like a crab.
Exactly, like a
your
crab
crab for your
the
crab
crab
soup.
That's perfect. Look at that. We got little crab tongs, and I am going to lace this here through here
Because that's
for
what
you.
I wanted it on.
Okay, ready? Can I put this on you? May I, my dear? All right, look at that, and it has the logo, Red Clay Cook-Off Family Style, which is the show that you were on. So now every time you help mom and dad, and you said sisters at home?
Lots and lots of sisters.
Lots
huh?
and lots of sisters. How many sisters do you have, Mehlaynie?
6. Because this
sisters?
one.
Oh, and you have another one on the way.
Yep.
How about that? A house full of girls.
We
How you
had
doing?
5 with this.
Tired.
Tired.
Lots and lots of soup needed.
Yeah, right. Let me get right in front of you. I'm going to grab the can opener if I can find where we put it. Here we go. So next in this recipe, you put tomato puree, right?
Correct.
So we just bought, there's different brands of tomato puree that you can buy. So we have a can of Tutoroso. That's just one of the ones that I personally use a
Yep,
lot.
same
So-
here.
Same here? Love that brand. So we're going to open this up. And tomato sauce, the lycopene, the antioxidants I was talking about earlier, are packed in tomato sauce. So it is a very...
Lots of yumminess.
Yes. It's very concentrated in there. So it's really good to have that, again, in your diet. Antioxidants are very important.
Sometimes if you like it a little thicker, you can actually add the tomato paste.
Okay.
It gives it that more thickness to the soup, more like the tomato soup would be, but
Okay.
they tend to like it more on the watery side.
On the watery side. That's good. We've got a couple more ingredients here, and we have our star ingredient, which we haven't gotten to, but we're going to add 2 more liquid ingredients here. So I've got a measuring cup. Mom, if you want to go ahead and do the honors with the vinegar.
I want to help.
Go ahead. Pour it in. Squeeze it.
So I was talking to Mom before the show, and we were
Tell
talking
me when
about the
to stop.
quantities of vinegar and ketchup in this recipe. The
Go
vinegar
ahead.
really depends on your preference.
Yeah, I
For
think it's
this
this
size
line.
dish that we're making, about a half a cup of vinegar is good. Same thing, she says she usually does equal ratios of vinegar and ketchup. So you might try
Okay.
this one time, and you may say I need a little less or a little more vinegar or ketchup. It's really a
One of
personal
those
preference.
taste as you go kind of things.
Yeah, which that's Mehlaynie's job in the kitchen, right? We already talked about
It's our
that.
favorite part.
So a little vinegar goes in there. And we make a crab sauce whenever we have crabs that has vinegar and ketchup and a
Yep.
little Worcestershire, so it's
that
very
sounds good.
similar. So you can go ahead and how about you give me
Squeeze
a
it
half
in.
a cup of ketchup? Does that sound like a job you can do? Perfect.
Mom, tell me when to stop.
Alrighty.
Up to this lane again.
Yep, same spot.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Keep going.
And the ketchup will add a little sweetness to the dish, which plays nice with the crab meat, which is also can be sweet as
Keep
well.
going, keep going. Squeeze it hard.
And crab meat is an expensive, more
want me to
expensive
help?
ingredient. So if you wanted to make it at home, this dish without
Yeah, let me
crab
see.
meat, you could always try shrimp. You could
Squeeze
try
at
a
the
white
bottom.
flaky fish in this dish, and it would still
Squeeze the
be
bottom.
really good. So it depends if you want to buy crab meat or not. It is definitely an expensive ingredient. But seafood in general has a lot of omega-3 fatty
Shake it.
acids,
Wait,
which are
put it
really
down.
good for heart health. How you
Make
doing
sure
over
it's
there?
the
You
right
get
amount.
it?
Yep, good
All
job.
right. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Doop, 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 doop. When you make sound effects in the kitchen, it makes it so much more fun, don't you
We
think
listen
so?
to music.
Music is fabulous. Although I'd be dancing.
Yep.
Would you be dancing with me? Yeah? All right, so we've got 2 more ingredients to go, and we are done this dish, and we get to try it. So I've got
We have 4.
4. We need salt and pepper. You're right.
See? Good
How
job,
about
Bug.
that? Thank you for reminding me. All right, so I have some kosher salt and pepper here. Mom, you tell me about how much.
It's once again to taste, so I
Okay.
would probably do double that and leave it be.
And then if you try it later after the dish is being made and you think it needs a little more, you can always add more. You can't take it away.
Right.
So always go lighter with salt rather than heavy, because salt.
Same thing with the pepper. It can totally throw the flavor off.
Exactly. So you don't want to go too heavy on these ingredients because it is going to be what your preference is. And the last spice we have is Old Bay. So have you ever looked at what's in Old Bay? You think it would have a lot of stuff. It really doesn't. It's celery salt, black pepper, red pepper, paprika, but it does have a lot of
Lots of
salt.
seasoning.
Yeah, it does have a lot of salt. So you don't want to go too heavy on the Old Bay, but again, you want to try what flavor you like. For this recipe, we're going to use about
How about
4
tablespoons?
tablespoons. Yeah, so probably about 3-4
Tablespoons.
tablespoons. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my hands. We're going to eyeball it. So that looks about 1, right?
Yep.
That'll work. 1, and we're just going to
This
table
is
it.
honestly how we do it too.
That's
Once again, it's just to
the
what
Best
you...
way.
Yeah,
Whoopsies.
it's just to what
3.
you like.
What do you think? Is this number 4?
Yep.
Thank you,
All
counter.
done.
4. All right. I'm just going to...
That's the best part. She's all messy.
3. And
Messy
then
is good. Wish I had an apron.
3 and 1 more make 4.
Okay, it smells so good. I love Old Bay. Put Old
We
Bay
do
on
too.
everything, right? Old Bay reminds me of summertime and crabs and some fresh steamed corn.
That sounds
All
good,
right.
doesn't it, Bug?
So again, that's something that you can vary the amount on. And this is my favorite ingredient so far is crab meat. I think we are going to go
Without
ahead.
this, it's not soup.
It's not crab soup without crab meat, right? Is this the star of the show? Do you like crab meat? Do you pick your own crabs when you have crabs in the summertime?
Oh,
good.
they smell so good.
I know, I agree. Here, how about,
You can use your new tongs.
yeah, do you want to use your tongs for me? I was going to let you if you want to. Want to try a piece plain?
You want to bite a piece?
Try a piece plain?
There you go.
What do you think? So good? So good.
good.
All right, let's see. How about we go ahead and,
Hold on, Mehlaynie, wait.
how about I have you empty it in here for me, and then maybe you can break it up for me a little bit. Go ahead, use your tongs and pull it out of there for me. And the crab meat, you want to go for, you don't need jumbo lump crab meat, but you do want some that is a little bit more, not as, this is good, the texture on this, but you don't want the flaky kind. But another substitute that you could use, you could try imitation crab meat if you want to still have crab soup, but maybe don't want to go for the actual crab. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and pop this on in there. So we're going to pop the crab meat into the dish here. And we're just going to let those flavors marry for a while. Do you plan on using those tongs a lot? Smells so
Amazing.
good, amazing, right? I might just be here all day eating crab soup, and then I'll wait until I get hungry again and have some more.
That's what we do. It lasts for a good 3 or 4 days, and that's what we eat for lunch and dinner
There you
every
go.
day.
Now, do you guys serve this with anything? Do you have a side?
Sometimes we use like cornbread, crackers,
Okay.
just rice, whatever you
Some kind of
prefer
starch.
with it. Yeah.
Because it really is a meal in itself. You've
It
got the
is.
starch from the potatoes and the corn. You've got the protein from the crab. You've got tons of veggies in there, which corn and potatoes are also vegetables as well as the starch. But yeah, if you add a bread, cornbread,
Oh, yes,
crackers,
absolutely.
you are ready to rock. So we are going to
Even
let
pretzels. Is
even
that weird?
pretzels.
Yes,
No, that's
but
not
we've
weird.
done that, so.
Hey, we all have our own preferences when it comes to being in the kitchen and food. So what we're going to do is we are going to let the magic of TV work for us. We have a magic oven that will all of a sudden make 1 hour just fly by, and then we'll have a soup that's been cooking here for an hour. You ready for it? Okay, we're going to go through the magic of TV. We are going to try the recipe that has been cooking for an hour. All right, so we have been sitting here for an hour. That's not a watch, but it's been an hour, hasn't it? And this soup has been, the flavors have been marrying together, the vegetables are cooked, this place smells fantastic.
It does.
You were
It's usually like an air freshener in our house for like good 2-3 days.
grabbing an Old Bay. An
Window.
Old Bay air freshener. Who doesn't love the smell of Old Bay and crab meat, right? So now we get to try it. So we are going to go ahead and try this dish, which I'm super excited about.
Well, I don't really like it, so I'm just gonna take a little.
She loves the crab meat more than anything.
Oh, well, we'll give you a little sample of it. How about that? I, on the other hand, am going to try some. So I'm going to go ahead. If you want to take that one for yourself. Mom, do you want some?
Sure, I'd love
All
some.
right.
It's my favorite.
Okay. I'll portion that a little bit, and you guys are welcome to take as much or as little as you'd like.
Mehlaynie has a tendency to eat all the ingredients prior to them making it into the pot.
They don't actually make it into the pot, but that's helping, right? It helps with cleanup because if there's less to cook, that means there's less to clean up later, right?
It's
So
okay,
you help
Mommy
with.
cleans it up.
So I have some spoons for us. There you go, and there you go. You ready to go ahead and give
Bon
this a
appetit.
try? Let's see if it's not too hot.
It's a little hot, but it's
It is
really
a little
good.
hot. The flavor is fantastic. Again, you can use it fresh. You want to let this dish cook for at least an hour, so the vegetables do cook all the way through, and it tastes fantastic. The ratio of Old Bay and vinegar and ketchup is really good in this dish. So if you want to try this recipe or any of the other recipes we have on the show, go to redclaycafe.com. And I want to thank you guys for being here with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And thank you, viewers, for watching. We look forward to seeing you again. And remember, you're not cooking in style unless you're cooking with family.